XOXO, got the girl. Pose. Good morrow and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. Now, unlike my normal intro, because I'm super duper nervous, I am your host, Audra. And today I'm going to be talking about something that's been on my mind, which is the get a real job concept that has been floating around for quite a bit. And I wanted to talk about that, especially in regards to social media and how this all works, I guess. So anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy my unrehearsed, unscripted thoughts on the whole thing. So to start, we first have to define what a real job is. And according to whatever society, a real job seems to be one in which you are forced to wake up at a time you don't want to so that you can battle traffic, which doesn't even make sense because you're only 20 miles from your job, but somehow it takes an hour to get there and 2 hours to get back, where you get to your place of work, sit in a cubicle that you have designed with your own art and pictures and whatnot so that you can feel a little less like you are an indentured servant, and work for 4 hours and pretend to work for 4, and then contemplate how late you can take lunch so that you only have an hour left of work. And that's supposed to be a real job. Someone named Craig is gonna come by and ask you about your TPS reports.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out.
At literally every moment, and it's very obnoxious and annoying, and that's supposed to be a real job.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
However, with the rise of social media, as well as an entire pandemic, those definitions have changed. And my question is, why are people so damn salty about it? So first thing I'm going to say, and obviously this is all conjecture, is jealousy. The idea that someone like myself or any other social media creator, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, or OF, it feels very upsetting to see that someone could literally set their own day. They get up when they feel like getting up, or they may have a set schedule that they get up at that's comfortable for them. They create content that they want to create, edit it and put it out for the masses, and reap in the benefits, I guess. And there's a large amount of jealousy there. I mean, if you are doing the aforementioned real job situation, it's obnoxious. Thinking about the fact that you got up at, say, 4:30 a.m., fed your pet, and then got ready, took a shower, battled traffic, as I said before, went to a job you don't particularly enjoy, only to like come and see that people on these varying social media platforms are making, in some cases, bank. Doing what you feel in your mind isn't a real job makes you very jealous. Like, why can't I do that? Why isn't it me? But secondly, the second part of that jealousy, I might say, is that during the pandemic for the last year, and by the way, the pandemic is still happening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Many people did flock to these social media platforms, which, by the way, if you don't remember, raised the price of all kinds of electronics. Anyway, the second part of that jealousy is that many people flock to social media as a means of not only connection, but also potentially joining the flocks of people who would no longer have to call the corporate office their 9 to 5, spending oodles amounts of money on equipment and backgrounds and all of these things to try to succeed, pushing out content like you wouldn't believe, streaming every day, trying their hardest to get verified, to hit monetization. Everybody rushing, trying to do this thing, and unfortunately, everybody didn't make it, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But it's very frustrating because you look at some people's content, hell, some of you are probably looking at mine right now being like, how do they even have anything? How do they make any money off of this? Newsflash, I really don't. But you could be looking at me being like, that's some mediocre ass content. I could do that. How the fuck, or do they make any money? And I don't have any answers for that. I know, it's very difficult. You look from creator to creator on no matter what platform you're on, and you can't really fathom how you aren't making it. You sit and you look and you go, I have a good camera. I have good sound. I don't, but I have good sound. I have the perfect background. My makeup is on point. My outfits are fabulous. I am doing everything you're supposed to do. But there's a tricky algorithm that really none of us know exactly how it works, and that kind of puts the brakes on you making it. Also, it does suck, but it just doesn't work that way. Even myself, I found myself caught up in the ever-present push to make this my job. And unfortunately, like so many others, I'm going to be going back to a regular 9-to-5, and that leaves us feeling some kind of way. Especially understanding that it's probably going to mean a slowdown on our content, which also means it's a slowdown to us making this our actual job. And another thing, I guess the third thing, is that if a creator in any of these platforms on social media deigns to make any negative statement about what they do, they're immediately met by cries of, that's what you get a real job, you don't even do anything.
I just burped.
But I think a lot of people don't understand how much work that this really is, and don't get it twisted. I am not saying that this is brain surgery, so don't come up in my comments being like, it's not that hard, anyone can do it. Yeah, then do it. So here's what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that is involved, from setting up to film, getting yourself ready. For many, they script their content out to make sure that it comes across intelligent and well-spoken, unlike myself, who just speaks off the cuff because I can't script to save my life. Getting the equipment that you need, making sure everything is in place and in order for you to film, filling out description boxes, promoting your content when it goes live. There's a lot more involved in it than people think, and honestly, a lot of it is a 24/7 job. As much as many of us try to not have it be, it really does come to be, especially YouTube and TikTok are gonna be pretty intensive. Comments come in at any time, and even when you're trying to tell yourself, I swear, I promise, I'm not going to spend every moment of my time responding to comments and liking everything. You do, and you have to learn when to turn it off, and that part is the hard part of anything, really. It's not even building all the content, it's really trying to find a way to separate yourself from your work. And that is something I'm still working on. But in the minds of very many people, especially those who don't create, this seems like all you do is sit in front of a camera, talk, and then, it's done. But the editing does take time, and most of us, especially smaller creators, can spend upwards of 7 to 8, maybe 9 hours on a video, perhaps more depending on how much editing they put into it and the speed of their editing and what they're trying to do. And for a lot of small creators, that net value of all of that might be a measly $7.64. And so when people lob those complaints at you saying that you should just get a real job, they don't understand that this is in fact a job. Just because I'm not going to an office doesn't mean I'm not working. And I think that people have it in their heads that people just sleep all day and then create content randomly, and then they're like, that'll do. But the reality is you have to be a very large creator that YouTube is pushing to be able to take any time off. If you are a creator on any of these platforms, I'm going to guarantee you, you need to be on that grind. You have to push. Every single day, you have to either be creating content or responding to the content that you've already put up. And if you are on multiple platforms, like myself, I'll film YouTube videos, then hop on Twitch, then maybe do a TikTok. It kind of never ends. And so it is a lot of work, but I think that what people see is sponsorships and being monetized. And being monetized makes people think that somehow, some way, you're making thousands upon thousands of dollars, which is true for some creators, especially the large creators. But for the smaller ones, it's just not true. And we're doing a lot of work for honestly less than minimum wage. which isn't the point. What I'm getting at is this is a real job, but the cries of get a real job often stem from, as I said before, jealousy. Another issue with social media as a job, and again, these are all just my opinions, is that it flies in the face of capitalism. Wait, Audra, you do beauty YouTube. That is capitalist as fuck. You're right. However, it's not the fact that I buy makeup and some of y'all buy the makeup and beauty products that I suggest to you using my affiliate links, which, thank you. If you look at Gen Z, for instance, who have seen and heard via TikTok and varying other social media platforms how hard Gen X and millennials have worked, have done literally everything that they were told to do. They were told to go to college, they went to college. They were told to get a job, they got a job. And through multiple market crashes, they have seen not only their spending power decrease, but they've also seen their earning power decrease. And it feels very much like a death sentence in a lot of ways. Not literally, but figuratively, obviously. Also, they're all saddled with large amounts of college debt. Debt from going to university. And as Gen Z looks at everything, they begin to realize that maybe they don't have to take that traditional route. And a lot of them understand, because they've had an opportunity to watch YouTube growing up, seeing videos of people actually talking about how much money you can and cannot make on YouTube and varying other social media platforms, how it all works, and so they're able to use that to their advantage. So now, a lot of Gen Z, instead of necessarily just like taking off to college and spending inordinate amounts of money on a career you may not like, which many of us don't like our jobs, instead they flock to social media. And now, understanding that it could take time, they're no longer worried about blowing up immediately, because if at 17 you're allowed to start a YouTube channel and you have 5 to 7 years to grow your audience. And here's the thing, let me just side note, I'm not talking about making millions. I'm merely talking about eking out a living, which you can. There are plenty of people on on YouTube alone and many other platforms that make $45,000 a year, $60K, and that's fine. It's enough for them to pay their rent, pay their bills, and they also get a lot of varying forms of PR that make it easier for them to continue their content without ever having to go back to a 9-to-5. And as Gen Z is able to look at that and see this as a viable option, that means they're not going to college. And as we all know, in the US specifically, I can't speak for every other place, but college is a moneymaker. Yeah, college makes a shit ton of money. Virtually all of them are for profit. And so if you even have 10 million people from Gen Z opt out, then that's a lot of money that they're not bringing in to our economy. Not only do they opt out of college, but then they're opting out of dun 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 the corporate world. They're not gonna walk in and be a drone in an office. And that means all of these huge corporations will no longer have a steady influx of workers, which also means they're gonna have to pay a lot of people a lot more money to wanna come there. Because realistically speaking, if you knew that you could wake up when the sun wakes you up as opposed to when your irritating alarm does, and still make enough money to live, well, then that's perfect. That works out great. And the thing about it is, it's not some weird get rich quick scheme. It's not some odd MLM boss girl bullshit. It's really you making a living. And that flies in the face of everything that we have all been told. It's one of the reasons why a lot of older generations do look down on social media as a job and talk shit about it. One, because they truly don't understand it. But two, because the idea that you could circumvent the system and enjoy your life instead of pushing and working yourself to the damn bone just to be able to have 12 days of vacation after 5 years of working somewhere. Whereas if I were able to do this full time, I could take vacation whenever the hell I want to. I could literally batch film, have everything edited, uploaded, and go on a 2-week vacation. And nobody would really know that I was on vacation. I would still be responding because I can do that from literally anywhere. And yeah, I could have a good time. And that flies in the face of what capitalism has become. Capitalism has told us that you must work and work and work until you die. And the only way that you are allowed to be happy is once you have worked and worked and worked to the ripe old age of 82. I know you're thinking, Audra, it's 65. Not today. Not with today's money. To the ripe old age of 82, then you can retire with the sad, tiny amount of money that's probably flexed and fluxed and gone bad for you because 401ks are hot garbage. You can retire into a small apartment where no one knows that you're there. And maybe be able to eat a few snacks here and there and order a pizza from Pizza Hut. Or, you could retire to some other impoverished country and colonize it, because that's really what's happening with the US, and that's a story for another day. The reality of changing what a job means is huge, especially as we are watching a ginormous change of people who are willing to quit their jobs and would much rather work from home than do any of the old school work ever again. Specifically because as people started to get their time back and their lives back, they were able to reevaluate the importance of going to work. And so all of this comes down to, this is a real job. Social media is a real job. And we're finally starting to get to places where most of us are no longer embarrassed to say that this is what we do. If you're a very successful Twitch streamer, you're not gonna tell people that if somebody asks you like, oh, I have a really successful podcast on Twitch. And people are gonna go, oh, really? What's it called? Instead of, ew, really? So it's a changing of the guard. But I do think that it is worth noting that it's gonna be a while before we get where we need to get, where people stop trying to belittle social media jobs. Because the thing is, it's not just this part. There are other jobs connected to it, which again, smacks in the face of capitalism. Which, the bigger someone gets, the more help that they need. They need editors. They're going to need somebody to answer their professional emails and determine whether or not they should do a sponsorship. Lawyers to help them understand the legalities and everything going on with their sponsorships. Maybe a management team just all around to help them determine what kind of content they should be making, evaluating their analytics, because Lord knows I don't look at mine. I can't, it stresses me out. But these jobs will create more jobs, honestly. But the problem with these jobs creating more jobs is that a lot of these jobs, once again, as I said before, won't require you to go to college. They're not gonna require that skill set, because a lot of us are learning skills, like myself. I know how to edit pretty damn good most of the time. Sometimes I'm sloppy because I'm lazy. Yeah, I get it. I'll get tired and I just don't feel like doing all of the things I need to do to make it perfect. Also, if I'm honest, if I continue trying to make something perfect, I will get hyper-focused on it and I won't be able to move past that. And then I will have spent 3 hours on one small 30-second portion of my video. So rather than do that, I just move the fuck along. Thanks, autism and ADHD. But realistically speaking, there's going to be more, and all of these people are not going to have had a college education. Like I said, I can edit. And I'm sure that if I really went out there and looked for it, tried to find someone who needed an editor, I could. In short, what I'm really getting at is that people gaining back their life autonomy can be viewed as threatening by those who never had the opportunity, which is unfortunate. And I kind of wish that they would take another look at their lives before being so quick to judge. But the reality is people no longer want to live to work. They want to enjoy their lives. They want a vacation. They want to spend time with their families, and that should be celebrated. People need somebody to fix their sound. Instead of me having to be annoyed as fuck that I have to go and do it through Audacity, I could just pass it off to somebody and be like, clean this up, please. Thank you. And you're gonna need photographers and camera people. As this progresses though, these people already have these skills. They've gained these skills just growing up. And so instead of them having to go to college and spend an infinite amount of money on being a graphic designer, not that there's anything wrong with having gone to college for it, but they will have learned these skills themselves just having created their own social media platforms for whatever reason. And again, yes, it's still going to be capitalist at its heart, but breaking down the system, I think this is the first step. So that's it. That is the video. Did y'all enjoy this? I feel so awkward. I feel so weird. Normally I do stuff. It's hard for me to just sit here and talk. So it's like a very awkward feeling. All right, so that is like my first, I feel like true, like maybe I've had other commentary videos, but this is the first one that I really did where I didn't write a whole outline and I just went for it because I was so stressed out, like my heart was, as I was like getting the camera set up. Let me know if y'all like this style of video from me. Don't worry, I'm still doing beauty content because a bitch loves makeup, but I will be doing more videos in this style and perhaps the regular intro will come back. But whilst I'm nervous, just, you're in for a treat when you're in for a treat. If you would, please do me a favor, give this video a big thumbs up so then that way the algorithm goddess can keep doing her thing, which is push me further down into the algorithm so that I can continue doing whatever the fuck I want to. And as usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays, yeah. All right, thank y'all so much because without the patrons and the channel members, I truly would not be able to do so many of the things that I'm able to do. Y'all keep the bats in the belfry and the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs, and truly, I appreciate it. All right, you know the drill. Costs $0 to be kind. It's so good for your soul because if you don't take care of your soul, look at me. Look at me. I'm definitely coming for yours. Until next time, XOXO. Golly girl. Oh my God. Natural light is my friend. No, babes. This isn't your turn. Bo with the scratching. I'm so stupid. Why did I laugh like that? I'm feeling weird. I like it when he scratches his chin because he makes the funniest face. I'd show you, but like, check out the shirt. Check out the shirt. It's really not. When I'm talking, like, it doesn't mean I'm talking to you. I know I'm normally talking to you when I'm talking about a bunch of bullshit, but like, not now. Why am I shaking my titties like that? That part of my house is a mess and you're seeing the clean-ish part. Let me leave. Stop. Oh, it's the it clown, y'all.